This is the Syllabus Lecture. Now, some of you may have taken online classes before, some of you may not have taken them. Usually they don't do lectures. We go more of a email type of format. We're going to be doing it a little bit differently here. We will have lectures 4 days a week, in which there'll probably be 1 or 2 10 or 15-minute clips where I'm trying to add to what the book is already teaching you. Now, again, a way that this class is going to differ from a normal class is attendance. State of New York requires attendance, whether I like it or not, or whether you like it or not. They require attendance, so we're actually going to be doing attendance with discussion forums. We will have, we'll talk about discussions in a little bit. Most of the stuff is in the syllabus, in case you want to read that and go over it there as well. I just thought I would clarify a few things that might not be clear on the syllabus. So we'll mention discussions in just a couple of minutes. As far as the textbook goes, because this is an online class and you're not going to get 3 or 4 hours worth of lecture per credit hour, which for this class, only being 8 weeks, would be about 6 hours of lecture per week. The textbook is going to be a little less optional than it is in other classes. It's going to be absolutely essential. You're going to be expected to read this pretty much cover to cover in the next 8 weeks and have a pretty good depth of knowledge of it, not just definitions, but how the theories are designed, some of the history behind it, and how you would apply these and use them in seeing people's development and in your own development. As far as the grading goes, there are going to be 10 things you'll be graded on altogether. Because we have the discussion, that'll be a grade. We'll have 7 tests. They'll start next week, not this week. So starting the second week, there will be a test, and then every week, at the end of the week, we'll have another test. So there'll be 7 tests, and then 2 papers. We'll have a paper about in the middle, and then we'll have a paper due way at the end. The test will not be cumulative in the fact that you'll be asked about previous materials, but the previous materials will be referenced. So in the very first week or two, we'll be talking about Erikson, for example. He has a multi-stage theory of development, and it's really important in psychology, really big theory. And but the entire rest of the book is organized as per Erikson's theory. So by the time we get into, late adulthood, we'll be talking about how this relates to Erikson's theory. We'll be going over Piaget's theory probably later on today, and that's referenced in every single chapter. So in a way, everything is going to be cumulative, but only in the regard that if you were to miss the first couple of weeks, you should be lost in the rest of the discussion. That would make sense. But other than that, the final is just another test like any other. The midterm, just another test like any other. So you don't have to study for them any differently than you would otherwise. The first test, actually, at the end of week 2, is going to be a little different than any of the other tests because it's going to go over 6 chapters. The rest of them will be going over 2 chapters, sometimes 3, I think. And it's just one of the drawbacks of giving people a couple of weeks to acclimate to the scheduling. So we'll go over what you'll need to know from each chapter before that starts. And then the 2 papers are going to be, one will be a review of an article. I'll pull up some articles, post them online. You'll have to read one of the articles. I'll give you 3 options. They'll all be something that kind of interesting, hopefully. So you can choose one and then give a critique on it. The idea is that you will have a good understanding of how psychology articles are written. The last paper is that you will propose research yourself. This always works out fairly well. There's a lot of problems that you're going to encounter with research. So you'll get to address some of those problems, how you would tackle them, how you would measure certain things. And it's usually relatively interesting. You have to do a little bit of research of what other people have studied. And we'll get into that later on as well. But those are your 2 papers. So we'll have 10 grades altogether. The lowest score of your test will be dropped. So that'll be 9 things, all equally weighed, worth about 11% of your grade apiece. The discussion will be having everybody is split into 3 teams. Um, they're Everybody's given a very strong team name. There's Team Gerbil, Team Chicken, and Team Frog. You're already in one of the teams, so you can be happy about the animal mascot that you have. And you will have discussions. I will post a topic to talk about throughout the week, and we can kind of modify the topics as we go. And the idea is that you don't just say 1 or 2 things. I actually expect people to be logging in every single day. The amount of class time commitment is supposed to be pretty large. This is an 8-week course. So typically you have a course in 16 weeks. So this is half the time. So you would expect twice as many face hours. Essentially, this is supposed to be the equivalent of a 20-hour week job. I know it's not going to be that much of a time commitment, but I want you to have the idea that you're actually going to have to be putting a decent amount of time into this, especially where the tests are going to be open book, open internet. So the amount of depth of knowledge and time is going to be pretty extensive. So your team are going to be people that you're going to wind up getting to know. You'll know them rather well in their various opinions by the end of the semester. And so you're going to wind up talking about things. You'll have to have at least 3 or 4 comments per week. By all means, do not put off talking until the end of the week. The discussion board will shut down on Saturday, I believe, every week. So you will not be able to make any more. You will basically be considered absent for that week if you don't contribute to the discussion board on time. And more importantly, your discussions are graded. The grades are, as long as you make a post, you say something intelligent, and contribute to a couple of things that other people are saying, you're going to get graded for that. Your grade will be a C. If you want to get a C, by the way, in college is considered average. That is, you've done what you are expected to do, but nothing more and nothing less. If you want to get better than a C, then do more. Your discussion grade should be relatively easy to achieve to help bring up your quiz grades. In case you flounder on a quiz or 2, the lowest quiz will be dropped, but it still doesn't hurt to bring that up. And just by contributing, saying more intelligent things, me too, or yeah, I agree, is not an intelligent rebuttal. These things don't have to be debates at all. They can just be your thoughts, your experiences. You don't have to try to prove people wrong. A lot of you are on Facebook. I'm a Facebook junkie myself. I understand. Don't treat this like Facebook. This is not a forum to complain and feel outraged at other people's opinions. It's not a forum for political commentary. We're trying to discuss developmental psychology. Angel, the entire course is going to be done on Angel. If you want to contact me through Angel. I'm going to be online all the time as well, just like I hope you guys are going to be. The quizzes are going to be, by their nature, open book and open internet. So don't expect a lot of simple questions, because there would be no point in me even asking you a simple question. If I'm going to ask you what the 3rd stage of Erikson's developmental theory is, you could spend 5 seconds, Wikipedia that, and get the answer right. There's no point in me even asking you that question. I might ask you a question asking whether or not you understand the stage. If I were to give you some examples, this person is going through this in life. What sort of developmental stage that he went through in the past is going to help him with this problem? That's not something you're going to get off Wikipedia, and it's that sort of depth of knowledge that you're going to try to look for in the text and with any of the lectures. As far as the lectures go, keep in mind that I consider these normal lectures. I'm a lecturer. I consider it my job to supplement the book with my own knowledge. That's That's why I'm here. Other than that, a computer could just moderate the internet forums. So treat this as a lecture. Take notes. Expect everything in the lecture to come up on a test. Because honestly, if your professor is saying it, he probably thinks it's pretty important. So take notes on the lectures, study them just like you do the books, and you should do fairly well on the tests. By all means, study. I would personally never take a test without studying for at least 2 hours. Um, Often people have a 2 hour per chapter um, idea, but give or take schedules that may or may not be possible. But good students have a tendency to study a lot. That's why college is considered a full-time job. You're expected to put about 40 hours a week into it. This is about a half-time job because it's just one course at twice speed. So by all means, if you have any questions, contact me with Angel. And if there's any problems with this video, by all means, let me know as soon as possible. And like I said, I'll be updating these 4 times a week, Monday through Thursday. Sometimes a couple, like today, there'll be one on the syllabus and then an actual lecture on a chapter. Might even do 3 altogether. I'm not sure, but good luck with the class, and let me know if you have any questions.